What's up, guys? Me, Via, with Via Talk Conversations Without Limits, and I'm so excited to have my longtime friend, Black here, who is the owner of Design House, and his cousin. It's a family business, so I'll let them introduce themselves and say what you guys got to say.
What's up? My name's Black.
And you are to the company?
You just told him who I was. I didn't have to say it over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's crazy. What's up? I'm Lean. They call me Lean. Part owner of Design House. I got the podcast going too as well. Ghetto Report Podcast.
What is it called?
Out. Ghetto Report Podcast. Nice. Check that out.
Okay, so let's get into it.
We got a bunch of different things going on. So you know what I'm saying? It depends on. We don't want, talk the whole intro. So this is your show.
No, it's not even an intro. We're already done with that. Okay, so I wanted to have my boy Black here because I've literally known him for 20 years. I think it's been more than that.
Yeah, it's been more than that.
Right?
Yeah,
Chanel's 24. You've known her since she was like 2. So it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I only say that. I'm only saying that because I want to talk about just for those who, I don't know, maybe going through trial tribulations or don't know how to reinvent themselves, or maybe just even to like always finding new ways to be in this, like whether it's entertainment industry, art industry, or entrepreneurial industry. And I feel like you're a true definition of that because I've watched you evolve in so many different shoes. So like I remember when I first met you, you were in the music industry. So like, let's talk about that a little bit. And are you still involved in music?
That's a funny question because that's a yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say it's a yes and no is that I still do have some interest in 1 or 2 artists, but not anywhere near the capacity that I used to.
Right.
I just grew, I want to say, you know what I mean?
You feel like you grew out of it?
I want to never say I want to grow out. I would grow out of it. Just, it's a lifelong passion. It's something that you're passionate about, something that's part of your DNA for so long. I don't think you ever outgrow it. I think that, you can move beyond it,
Like you got a new dream.
Well, it's not even really like a new dream because even back then when we were doing music back then, I was, always, pushing the envelope of what we were going to be doing next. Like, what was going to lead up to what we're going to do and then do.
Yeah, you were always like the business of everything.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, so this is just really just, actually just a fruition of everything that we were just building for so long, you know what I mean? And it just got to us where we are now,
Right. So then you had some hiccups. I don't know if you feel comfortable. Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that you went away. You did federal time?
Yeah, fed time.
So it's cool because my boy Dwayne, right?
Yeah,
so him and I, we had a conversation. How do you feel, especially being like a Black man or just a man in general, but doing federal time? And I am always in awe and amazed because it's like, you were still able to, like, you didn't let that situation hold you down. And I feel like there's just so many poor me's in United States. And I'm like, or like, they're like, I can't do this or I can't do that. And, and especially it's really like insulting to some, like me when I hear people like, oh, the immigrants and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you guys don't want the jobs that we're doing. You guys don't want the hustle that we're doing, right? Like, to me, if you were born in United States, you already are like, you should be like, 10 years, 15 years ahead of anybody. So like, why are you mad at somebody? You know what I mean? So to me, I feel I don't want to put you in the same category as like immigrants, but in a sense, it's like you're really, so many rights get taken away from you, right? And it's like you're fighting against, like you're trying to dig yourself up. So it's like, what advice or like, how do you, like, first of all, you went through that, but like, how did you even be able to start business after that?
Well, I was always very business oriented, even at a young age. I mean, I was always very good in school, even though I was always in trouble. I was always like the kid that got like all good grades, but like had like F's in conduct. You know what I mean?
Same.
You know what I mean? So I just think that just having that mindset, as I got older, and then, even with the trials and tribulations that I went through dealing with, my legal situations, most of those all were financial type of situations anyway as to why I got in trouble. You know what I mean? So when I did Fed time, obviously.
How many years?
I got a 5-year sentence.
Now, when you were in there, were you able to do any like education?
Yeah, but the thing about the federal system is that they will provide you with a multitude of different resources to better yourself. But like I don't want to say all of them, but I'll say a majority of all those resources are all just kind of like prison programs. You know what I mean? So like, in order to kind of like translate that into like the real world is where I think most guys find themselves in trouble with when they come home. And I think that's more what you're talking about, where guys are trying to just figure it out. You know what I mean?
And with you feel like you kind of had your own direction, what you wanted to do. So it's like those programs didn't really apply to you?
Well, programs apply to everybody. So I don't want to say that. But, I just feel like, a large part of my success coming home has always been just the foundation that I had around me. You know what I mean? If you know me, then like, all the guys that I keep close to me are all guys that have been close to me for 30 plus years.
Right. One of the crew members, Abe.
Me and my cousin spoke, almost daily. You know what I mean? So just having that foundation, it was easier for me personally to be able to come home and be able to, put myself in a better position just because I had a good foundation around me to help me do that.
Let me ask you this: what does that do for your mental state? I feel like I don't even know, like how do you ever still have like any? Do you feel like it kind of altered your emotion sometimes? Like because how do you feel like? I don't know. I can't imagine. Me personally, I'm such a free spirit. I can't imagine being confined,
Okay, well, prison changes you.
That's what I'm saying. So how do you think
anybody,
that, how do you think that affected you, mentally and emotionally? You think it affected you in relationships as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, all the way around the board, I just think that you become a more introverted person when you come home from prison. You know what I mean? And I just think that people's ability to adjust to that is going to be the determining factor or how successful they're going to be when they come home, I think, So I just know for myself, one of the things that I found that I had to work on was, I always had a bad temper anyway, just as a kid, I had a bad temper, but, growing up and then, once you're in that environment and it's such a shark tank, you know what I mean?
Right.
Once I was home, I had to be much more, mindful of my reaction to things where somebody doesn't even understand and not even violating me when they're, in my space because I'm in society again. You know what I mean?
So let's be real. It's like you were away at war and you have to come back and now assimilate with civilians.
Yeah, a lot of
think about it, right?
Guys
it's like
who
PTSD.
come home from prison, they do get diagnosed with a PTSD.
PTSD, like the veterans, right? And they have a hard time transitioning from like quote, war life to civilian life. So it's like same thing. It's like
right.
Yeah,
it is basically the same thing. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
Yeah, wow. So, but that's great though because you have your cousin that you spoke to every day. So you have family, you have a core of people that kind of always kept you like balanced and like kept you grounded.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And having, a good core around you when you're in prison as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's the foundation that you have outside, but it's also the foundation that you have inside, the people that you're around and the people that you have close to you when you're inside. You know what I mean? And trying to have positive and like-minded people with you while you're inside, they're all trying to do something, to put themselves in a better position, or you can hang with the dudes who's into the bullshit.
Right. So speaking of that, I remember speaking to you before and then afterwards. And then I remember you were taking some classes at Harvard, right?
Yeah. I was in Harvard. I was in Harvard.
What were you doing there?
I was in the business program.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was in the business program. One of the reasons it's one of the reasons why I'm gonna tell you that's kind of like a sore subject in the family because my mom's is pretty still upset with me over that because she was hell bent on me getting that paper from there. You know what I mean? And
now, was this a certificate course or was this?
No, it was my undergrad. It was an undergrad.
Okay.
Yeah, I had already graduated, got my associate from RCC.
Wow.
So I was.
You were gonna go there for business?
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to go there.
I mean, meaning you were gonna graduate with business.
Yeah,
wow.
I was graduating for business. You know, in undergrad in creative writing. That's what the plan was.
Wow.
But another opportunity kind of put itself in front of me. So I kind of went for that.
Right.
So I look back at it like, I learned a lot. It was a great 2 years of my life. I learned so much. Well,
that's what I was just going to say to you next. I was going to ask you because, I went to college as well briefly I didn't get to finish. But we have this thing now because everybody is like YouTube University, or people are like, you don't need to go to college, or you don't need to this and that.
Yes.
But I feel like if you can go to college for, say, something like Harvard, or I told my daughter, like, listen, you graduated from Suffolk, you have name brand recognition.
Facts.
Like, it's all about. So to me, like, I don't want to take this whole, like, there's so many kids right now. Like, you got like, it's like my daughter's age, all of them. We don't need to go to school because you got all like, that like were strippers and now they're rappers. So for some reason, they don't feel like they don't need to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Actually try to better themselves.
And then you got all these TikTok dudes, the dude they don't say shit but just move his fucking hands, and be like, I'm just gonna do TikTok, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do a podcast, right?
It's a different world.
But the thing is like, you can't just be running around here if you don't have infrastructure, if you don't have structure. And I feel like that's something that school does. And this,
absolutely.
So, I just wanted to, like, I don't know why I went on that rant, but I hate people who want, like, instant gratification, or, like, think that they can just go online and do something and, like, that's it.
Yeah,
well, it's funny. I'm sorry,
go ahead.
To your earlier question, that was one of the things that they say very early on at Harvard, is that, you're not just here to learn what we're teaching you. We're here to teach you how to think, right? So I think that once you grasp the concept of them teaching you how to think and look at things differently, I think that it changes the way you even approach scholastically what you're trying to accomplish, because now you feel you're looking at everything differently. You know what I mean?
I agree. So FYI, I have a certificate in architecture from Harvard, because when I got the hotel account, here I was just making art, and the owner really expanded my mind. He's like, oh, these pieces are huge. Like, how are you going to get them in here? And I was just so like, oh shit, I wasn't thinking like the mathematics. I'm like, right. I'm just creating. He's like, and what kind of materials and this and that. So he really challenged me. So there was like a certificate. That was during COVID. It was like 2020, I think, or whatever. And it was just like a 6-week program certificate. It was for pre-architect, right? But
was it on campus or online?
No, it was online. And I did have to go on campus at the end. And it was cool because at the end, the professor was like, everybody, I want you guys to do 2 things. I want you to draw an idea, and then I want you to design an idea. And then write down an idea. And then he's like, put it away. And at the end, he said, congratulations, somebody already started doing your idea. He goes, it's not a matter of who has the idea first. He's like, there's billions of people. He's like, a matter of who's going to start to execute it first. And I was like, yo, that shit was so real. So like what you said, like Harvard doesn't so much just teach you like, education, but they're really teaching you how to like enlighten you, and like, the way they say things. I was like, wow. I was like, that's such a great. So I always tell my friends, like, that's great. You have an idea, like write it down now. Now, what are you going to do after that? Right. There's so many people always say like, and now like head into what you did now, like how many people we know around the way, I want to start a t-shirt. I want to start a sweatshirt. Right? I want to do this. But like everybody has a thought. Well, what are we doing with the thought? You know? Right. So yeah, what were you gonna say? Because I don't want to leave you out.
No, I was gonna say, we all would like instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the way the world works. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, some people have an easier path. Some people won't. Some people have a rough path. But that may be their process, not yours. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just keep grinding it out. You can't expect anything just to be given to you. You know what I'm saying? You got to work for it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might work 10 times harder, but you might sustain it longer than the next person because they got instant gratification. You worked harder for it. You know what I'm saying? It took you time, so you appreciate it more. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you know what's funny you saying that, Lane? I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just to his point, right? Is I was having a conversation with a young designer when I was first starting Design House. Shout out to my man Nico. And I remember I was working with two young designers at the time, Nico and another kid, Jay. And they both had their own brands. And this is before I had launched Design House. And the first kid that I wanted to work with, I'm not going to say his name and I'm not going to say his brand, but the first kid that I was working with, had, was like a rocket in the hood. Like as soon as everybody was on his stuff, as soon as he dropped it, right? Like everybody was on his stuff. And Nico was just constantly just building his brand. And the kid who started off like a rocket ended up fizzling out, right? And I remember having a conversation with Nico and I remember him saying, yo, everybody wants to start off popping, right? But like, how many people really want to build it and do it the right way and really, really create something that's going to last, right? And just listening to him back then, and he's I don't want to say he's a kid because he's a grown man. He's he's a father. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he's a kid to me. He's one of my young homies. You know what I mean? Just listen to him when he said that. It really made me kind of redirect the way I was even thinking about how I was even gonna approach building Design House from its inception. You know what I mean?
I mean, and now I'm gonna compliment you. I'm really big on logos, and I don't even feel like right now people are just dropping shit. It makes me cringe because I'm like, did you even put thought into your actual logo, right? And so me being an artist, I love that. I'm like, I saw that, I was like, oh, I love that, right? So like. That means you put thought and intention into it, right? I know that, right? But there's so many people right now. I mean, if you guys, I don't know, but if you look at my cup, right? Obviously, it's my face, right? But I did it because one, look, I got the bamboo earrings, right? Because at least two pair, because it's a cross-pollination of how I grew up. I'm Mayan Indian. I was born in Guatemala. So I have the Mayan choker. I have the braids. But then I have hip-hop really raised me. So I have, you know what I mean? But a lot of people, but I had to put thought in it. Because at first I was just going to put like a native, regular Mayan. But then I thought people would have been like, okay, like who's this lady? And as you know, a lot of people know me, right? So it's going to be better and well-received if it's me. And obviously everybody knows me as Via, right? But initially, I wasn't even going to put me on it, but then people were like, okay, so she's now has a coffee of like this older lady. So, but it's everything is, and then my logo, VIA, I'm dyslexic. A lot of people don't know it, but my logo, you can turn it any which way, it's gonna be the same. It's going to be the same for Via. Nice. So I'm really, but people don't put thought and intent to even that. So my thing is like, how do you want me to respect your brand if you didn't even put thought and intent into your font? Right. Let's talk about that. Like, what's your font going to be like, right? What's, and then what's like, and then another thing, if we're going to talk business, like I know, like now you can tell us since you're here, what's your mission behind Design House? What is it?
Well, our mission is really just about helping young artists of all genre kind of come together and learn to create and build on the business aspect of the arts. Because I think that a lot of times people want to, like you said, they want to have these brands, right? And people are dropping these brands, right? There's a million brands on every corner in America.
No, they think they have a brand.
You know what I mean?
They got merch?
Yeah. They think because they got a name that they got a brand. And I you know what? I don't know if you just saw my Facebook recently, but I had to even talk about that, how I because I be going in on my Facebook shit, right? But anyway, I said, because, I don't know if you know about the new LLCs. What's happening with the tax and everything. So, so basically what happened is like, so I wrote TikTok, I wrote social media made you get an LLC, right? And then I said, so many of you think you're a brand, but you don't even know what a brand is. People be thinking they swearing like, cause they're on TikTok, I'm a brand. Who are you? Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you know what a brand is? So that's a whole other subject matter. And like you're creating a brand.
So that was one of the biggest things that we had, and it was a challenge that we really took on from the very beginning, right? Was that we were like, all right, what's going to differentiate us from every other brand on every other corner, right? In every hood.
Right.
All the way around the world.
Because let's keep it real.
Right?
Hoods be having the brands.
Every hood got a brand, right? My hood got 4 brands. True story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my hood got a brand.
You see
maybe
what I'm
more
saying?
than one, but one that we mess with.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So what was going to differentiate us, right? And it goes back to that early conversation that I was telling you when I was dealing with you 2 young designers, right?
Right.
And true transparency. The kid that started off, like I said, shot off like a rocket, right?
That's the one you had his
bingo. Right. Nice. I was very, very, very interested in working with this kid. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was helping this kid, position himself. I was helping him with his marketing. I was helping him with, everything with the brand. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And I was a little upset about it, to be honest with you, because I had felt like I had put a lot of time and effort into it. I had invested in it because I believed in the kid. It was more than anything else, I had believed in the kid, right?
Don't you hate that?
So I remember me and the kid were having a heated discussion. And my point to him was, we were arguing about the percentages because now we were getting ready to go into business together, right? So we were arguing about the percentages of me coming in, and I felt that I deserved more than he was willing to give because of what I bring to the table, who I'm connected to, the amount of money that I was getting ready to put into it, the effort that I had already put into it just on good faith. And in the midst of that heated debate, my point to him was, I can just do it myself, and he said to me, Black, if you was going to do it, you would have already did it. Right? And just like me as a person, like...
I already know. It's like, what?
You were fuming inside.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I said, all right, you know what? Say less. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, say less.
But okay.
So hold on. So I just want to finish this point because it's so important for people going into business, young people trying to go into business, and learning how to negotiate with other people that have other interests that are trying to invest in your dream. One, never alienate a person that's trying to help you.
Amen to that.
That statement alienated me from the moment he was done saying it. You know? And from that moment, Design House was getting ready to happen, right? And I hadn't even really had like the name really all the way I wanted yet, right? And we have another cousin named Vander. Vander and I were having dinner, and I was fuming over the whole conversation I had just had with the kid earlier. All this money, all this time I put into this situation, I was tight. So, my cousin said, he said, why don't you just do with your brand, the same thing you did with your music, and help independent, like you helped independent artists get deals. Why don't you do the same thing with designers? And I was like, wow, that's dope. You know what I mean? Right? That thought, I was like, wow, that's dope, right? So, as I started just building on just that concept over the next few months, it just kind of built like, well, why am I just going to do just young designers when we've already been doing music? So why would I not help young artists find their way in the music industry? At that time, we were just starting to get into the television and the film stuff. Why would I not help young kids that are trying to get into television and film, whether they're in production or they're trying to be in front of the camera, show them that path and how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Design House as a whole came up.
So you're saying that Design House isn't just like about apparel, but it's about the music, it's about, say, podcasts, it's about entertainment, it's just about embodying all the arts. Is that what you're saying?
The arts, exactly.
Nice.
And
let me ask you this: how did you come up with the actual logo in the colors? Because I really like that too. It kind of gives me a Coogee feel.
Really? You're the first person that ever said that?
Yeah, right there, the Coogee.
You're the first person
I
to ever
see.
say that. You're the first person to say that.
I like only just right there, like because the colors, Coogee has the different colors.
Yeah, right.
So when you have the different colors.
So I'm going to tell you what's so funny is that when I was designing that, I thought Google. When I was thinking Google.
I mean Google too, but
I totally missed the mark when I didn't even.
But now you see it.
When you saying Coogee now, I'm like, oh yeah, wow, Coogee. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. But
I mean?
how did you think about like obviously the house and then the palette?
So the whole thing about the house and the palette, and I wrestled with that probably for about a year and a half, to be honest with you, just to create it. And, I was going back and forth with Cuz, showing like, what you think of this? What you think, right? And
did you draw it? Did you sketch it?
Yeah, so,
okay.
I had the idea of what I wanted to be. I wanted the palette to be a house, and then, we were going back and forth with the paintbrushes, because I had a whole bunch of Google images. So we were kind of like, I like this one. Like, how do we manipulate this and this, And then we just kind of came back on it. And then I saw a Google image that had the brushes just going through a palette. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, what if we just manipulated that and just kind of made it like,
that's fire,
like a chimney, and then made it like, and instead of the drip, like we make the drip kind of like a smoke. Like,
I like
you know
it.
What I mean?
Nah, I love it.
So I put like almost 2 years to figuring out.
Let me just also play devil's advocate though. Back to what you were saying about Nico Homeboy, right? I'm an artist, so Kim Porter was gonna be Diddy's baby mother. She, because Chris Brown, the lawyer. Boston College.
Yeah, of course.
Well, he's one of my lawyers as well. So he does like a lot of my IPs, my trademarks, blah, blah, blah. So Kim Porter wanted to do a business. I spoke about this in another show, but she wanted to do something, and I had a brand called Mom, Money Over Men, right? I still have it. But anyway, because I grew up again, hip-hop was always MOB, money over bitches, right? I'm like, nah, fuck that shit, right? But also, too, like, raising my daughter, people be like, what do you... And you know how I went hard for Chanel when she was playing AAU. I'd be like, oh, can't do anything about my mom shit. People thought, like, oh, you're on your mom shit. I'm like, no, dog. Like, I'm on my money over men shit. Like, I got time to date you right now, right? My point is though, I remember when negotiating... She was like trying to flex on me. And I was like, so as an artist, right, when you create something, it's your intellectual property and you're the creator of everything, right? And just someone comes in with the money or say, I have this and this and that. I kind of had to come back at her and be like, that percentage isn't going to work for me. You know what I'm saying? And she was on some like, and the thing is we weren't going to use Sean John because she wanted to use, we weren't going to use his manufacturing. She wanted to get her own because she was doing this business on the side. So so I'm like, okay, so now we got to look for a whole new manufacturer. Like, nah. So I'm just saying that, like, although I don't agree because, like, I think there was a thing that Jay-Z said, like, why own everything when you could get a percentage or something, right? He wasn't thinking business out. He was thinking emotionally to attach to his business as an artist. So all I'm saying is that as an artist, and you know this, it's like someone coming in right now, right? And say, I don't know, if it was Gap, and be like, we want to buy Design House, right? But then they want to buy the name and everything, and they want to buy it, but then all of a sudden they change it up and they make it like not for your mission.
That's funny.
Yeah.
My cousin and I have that conversation all the time. And I tell Lane this all the time. What do I say, Lane? I say, yo, at a certain point, we're not going to be able to control what it becomes because of the nature of the way we built it. We built it about art, right? And art, as you know, as an artist, is how a person sees it.
Right.
Right. And how they take it in. Right. So we're not going to be able to control what Design House becomes in 10 years.
Right. Well, and that's and people.
So that's why it's so important to really stick to the foundation to make sure that you try to keep it as grounded to what your original mission was from the beginning. Right. Right. So once it starts to sprout, it still has the DNA of what it was initially, Yeah,
but for instance, I already had someone wanting to buy Via Guatemala coffee from me, and in negotiations, I should say, right? Okay, are you still going to give back to the people, right? Are you still, because one of the reasons why I'm big on telling people stop drinking Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts is because they're exploiting our people. They're exploiting Africa, where they get coffee from. They're exploiting Vietnam, Cambodia, and they're exploiting Guatemala. They literally go and they like these farmers and they pay, because they're buying volumes, tons and tons and tons. And then by the time they bring it here, and then they're in the tons and they're ripping it apart, and then they grind it, and then they ship it out. Like, you're like the fourth or fifth person to actually open up the bag, right? And then they're not in the business when you go there selling you real coffee. They want you to have milks and sugars and creams, right? So I tell people, like, no. So when the person wanted to, I was like, look, I still want to stick to the mission. I'm a Mayan woman. Like, I'm from my country. I'm not... how I look like giving it to you, a white man, no offense, literally, if you look at the coffee industry, it's nothing but older white men, most of them who really own the coffee companies. So you have to stick to my mission statement. Like, my mission is, are you going to help the people? Like, I want to build a shelter there. Are you going to, what are you going to do to employ the people, right? Like, in Guatemala, there's no Starbucks school. There's no Starbucks hospital. There's no Dunkin' Donuts hospital. Like, why not?
Right. Yeah. And then you're the face of it, too. So they're going to be looking at you like you ain't donating, you ain't helping.
This is what I'm saying. So my only thing is like, you know, I don't mind ever selling it, but you have to stick to the mission of what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to open up a shelter in my country. You're not going to sit here and then exploit my face and, you know, exploit the situation. So I'm just saying, like, you know, things like that, it can just like, it could just evolve into a whole other thing.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Facts. Facts.
Okay, so let's talk about real quick about your podcast. So we also have more podcasts winners here. You guys have the Ghetto Report, right?
Yeah, the Ghetto Report podcast.
So that's dope. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Well, I was initially I was doing like, you know, during a DVD ever. So I had
Cheddar DVD,
right?
So I had a DVD. So I
Ghetto
was
Report
DVD. So
no way.
Yeah. So I was recording. You know what's so crazy is he was away at the time. So I was involved with the music, you know, with Smoke and all of that. So
shout out to Smoke.
So he was away at the time, and I'm like watching these DVDs like The Come Up, and Cocaine City. I'm like, man, I'm all around. I'm already filming.
Right.
Behind the scenes, I'm recording everything. You know what I'm saying? We going to the shows.
Yo, I forgot the DVD game went so hard.
So I'm already recording.
We're aging ourselves.
So I'm like, yo, I could do this. So he was away, but you know, we speak all the time. I'm like, yo, Black, this is what I want to do. He was like, yo, cuz, go get the camera. You know what I'm saying? His camera he had. So he's like, yo, go get the camera. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get the camera. So I go get the camera. I end up talking to Miles about like, yo, let's film this, you know, this DVD or whatever. But Miles was kind of dragging his feet. So it was me, my other cousin, Riz, and this other dude that we was doing at the time, because Miles was dragging his feet. Initially, I talked to Miles about it. So then we ended up recording the Cassidy and Gilly situation. It was on our DVD when they was beefing, so it went viral. It had mad views. Then Miles stopped dragging his feet. He was like, "Yo, let's go. We going everywhere." Like he was ready to move. So it had started on our DVD unintentionally, but it just started like that, and we had no editor. And Gilly's calling me like, yo, we need that footage like ASAP. We need to put this out. And I'm like, all right, I got you. Like we had to find an editor, get it ready, sent it out, sent it to them. They had ended up putting it on YouTube, his manager or something like at the time. And next thing you know, we got 1 million views, but it's on somebody else's page. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's kind of crazy, but it still got our stamp on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it's kind of like,
but you missed that opportunity.
We missed the opportunity, but we learned doing that. But at the same time, we got recognition because of it. So it was easier for us to get more people on the DVD.
So y'all hear that? Y'all talking some OGs. Because let me tell you something.
I'm aging myself, like you said, but you know,
let me tell you something.
I still look young.
The DVD game went so hard. All-Star Weekend.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Super Bowl.
Yes.
Which All-Star Weekend? You know what I'm saying?
Honey, I was in a field.
Okay.
I was enterprising up in that.
The DVD era was crazy. So
that DVD era was insane.
So you know what's so crazy? We was doing all that filming. We ended up getting everybody on there. Like we had Jim Jones, we had French Montana, we had Rick Ross, we had everybody. Like
at the Ghetto Report, that's fire.
We filmed everybody. Like, you know what's so crazy is I fuck with French too. Like this before he blew up. So he was like, yo, I'm gonna get that cover, right? He's like, see, he was a hustler. I knew like he was gonna make it far as music goes because his grind. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, it ain't about some people be like, yo, you know, he ain't the greatest rapper, but I'm like, yo, but his grind's crazy. And then you know what I'm saying?
And I remember he used to be with Peter Beats.
Listen, I remember my coach told me talent only takes you so far.
Yeah.
Work ethic will take you far. So work beats out talent all day, every day.
Facts.
Yeah, so we had Jim Jones and French on the same DVD, and they had issues at the time, but it was like kind of separate. But a part of it we couldn't put out. I don't want to say why, but so you know, I had a relationship with them and stuff at the time. You know, where like I ended up meeting these dudes organically. Like, well, French with Jim, I met organically. French, I ended up hitting him up like on I don't know if it was MySpace or something like that. But he was like, yo, come to the Bronx. We went to his projects. We recorded.
I never had a MySpace.
Yeah,
get out of here.
On everything. I never had a MySpace.
MySpace was working for the DVD era. We was hitting everybody up.
I never had a MySpace.
Yo, we changed the MySpace game. A lot of people don't know that.
I was
Russian
like,
crew.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
I never had a MySpace.
MySpace hit us and was asking us to build MySpace pages for other people because they were getting hit so hard of people who was asking them like, how did our MySpace become like that? Like,
really?
How did they do that? And it was crazy. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, MySpace was the day. So transitioning, like I got tired of like following artists around.
I was just gonna ask you that. So like, okay, that's amazing. You did the DVD era, but then you still kept the name. So how do you think? Or two questions I should say is like, obviously then the whole podcast and YouTube thing happened, right? Like, how soon after that did you transition, and did you find it like to be an easier transition? And then two, like, what do you think is the different hustle?
Okay, so
it's a great question.
Yeah, so the transition was a long time because doing the DVD thing, you're behind the camera. Mm-hmm. So the podcast, sometimes you're in front of the camera.
Like now?
Yeah, like now. And I didn't want to be in front of the camera.
But you're nice looking.
No, I know, but I like
He said I know.
He said I know.
He said I know, honey.
No.
You ain't got to tell me twice.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No,
thank you.
you been talking shit. When someone tells me I'm
Don't
fine,
be afraid to be
I'm like, I know I'm fine.
Because I'm humble. I like to be humble. And even with him doing the clothes, I told him, cause I want to be behind the scenes, but it didn't work out like that because
sometimes some stuff. Listen, if you're a star, baby, you gotta shine.
Even a lot of people hit me up like, "Damn, I didn't know that was yours." You know, I'm just like, yeah, because I'm just humble about it. I don't like telling people stuff because it feels like you're bragging, and I just kind of hate that sometimes. But I like showing versus telling. You know what I'm saying?
Showing and telling. This is my thing. I feel like so many people, minorities, Latin, Asian, African, we have been held back. Yeah. It is time for us to tell and use our voice.
Yeah, but see, I'm
sorry. And it's not bragging. It's only bragging if it's only bragging if you're like shitting on other people. No, like, like if like for me, sometimes when I hear, I'm not gonna lie, like just even as of like lately, like just like sometimes when I would hear rap music or women and men, like one of the artists she got bars, but I don't like how Nicki used to just shit on women. Like she'd be like looking down on bitches, like all her verses, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I say this thing, right?
So that's bragging.
Yeah, I say this thing too. Like when you say looking down on people, I don't excuse me. I don't like to like I don't gotta put nobody down to big myself up.
This is what I'm
saying. Know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
So it's not bragging if you're talking about what you do.
I know, but it's just something like I like to show versus like you could see it yourself. You know what I'm saying? So let the work speak for itself. So if you do the work, they'll realize. You know what I'm saying? So the transition, like it was like a long time coming. Like I had the equipment in 2020, and even I had the thought before that. And so my co-host Rose, she was like, well, we should do a podcast. And I'm like, nah. But I'm watching podcasts at the time. Like I used to watch Queen's Flip podcast. I don't know if you know who that is, but I used to watch his podcast. He's funny, you know. So I ended up buying equipment in 2020. I just sat with it though. I'm just like, nah. And then everybody kept saying, yo, just call it the Ghetto Report. You already got the name.
Right.
People know it.
He's
saying it like, why not?
Bro, why would you not? You already got it.
Everybody's saying it. I'm just like, yo, I want something different, something more like universal. But I'm like, you know what? Time was ticking. So I was like, you know what?
Wait, but didn't the Webster's Dictionary add ghetto into their dictionary? Dead ass. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
So like, no. What
I gotta look that up.
What I'm saying is, people, especially too, like people of color underestimate the power of even just like our words, right? So our lingo. So maybe you didn't want to call it the ghetto, but that's a universal word right there. Yeah. Like there's ghettos in Africa, there's ghettos in Guatemala.
There's ghetto everywhere.
So that's a universal word.
And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just stick to the script. Call it that. I already got a name. It's time is ticking. Let's just go. You know what I'm saying? Just started filming like the first episode I did with Miles, and then I just started.
Shout out to Mass Pike Miles.
Yeah, I started filming like different people I knew. After that, like comedians. Dude that did 32 years in jail. He was innocent, wrongful conviction. You know what I'm saying? But I ended up just doing it, and then I started flying after that, going to Chicago, Dallas, wherever. I'm like, wherever, Atlanta, wherever I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta go to the moon, I'm going to the moon. You know what I'm saying?
I feel honored and humbled and blessed that you're here. Thank you, baby.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's
grateful.
an honor to have us here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, so you look at it and you be like, damn, it's a lot of work. But the thing is not to focus on where you gotta actually go. You know what I'm saying? The thing is to focus on each step. Like focus on this and what's next and what's next and what's next. Because if you focus on all the things you got to do, it might become overwhelming. And you be like, God damn, this is kind of stressful. So you just, once you start tackling one thing, you tackle the next and next.
So let me ask you this for the people out there, because if many of you guys know, I this is a recent project for me. It's been years in the making, mind you. I've been interviewed for a long time. I've been multiple interviews, and people always say to me like, oh my God, you always had to have your show. But I wasn't going to do it unless like I had a studio situation and whatever, right? But for the people out there, someone who's like wants to start something or besides starting, right? Like, or even me, what advice? First, you got to start, right?
That's
of course.
The biggest thing.
But
after that,
say advice to me. Like, as you know, I'm fairly new. I think I have like 40 subscribers or something. What advice would you give me or anybody out there who's starting something, right? And what do you think that I could do, or what advice would you give me?
So you got to find out what works for you. And you got to constantly do research and homework. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you'll watch things like what you like and what you don't like. You know what I'm saying? How you want to come off and how you don't want to come off. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was I just watched like just different people and did research on guests I wanted to have on. I always say, it's always a no, regardless if you don't ask the person.
Amen to that.
So it's a no anyway. So I might as well ask, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna just try, you know what I'm saying? And then I'll go from there. So initially, you like, okay, we got 100 subscribers, we got 200, it just goes up. And then eventually, like right now we over 11,000 subscribers, but it took a little bit. I wouldn't say it took a long time because it went like this, kind of like it just started hitting, but consistency is the key.
Yeah.
Right.
If you just consistent, YouTube will push you. You know what I'm saying? And you'll notice the difference. Like YouTube will push you to be seen. And then you get the people, you might have the right people, the right hashtags or something like that. And you just, you interview the right people.
And when do you feel is the best time to launch an episode?
Me, see, I split it up in parts. I don't do a full episode all in one.
Okay, explain that.
So for instance, if I have a 2-hour interview, that might be like 30 clips for me. So, so here's the concept. Like, so if you got a 2-hour, say you got a 2-hour episode and you put it out and you get 10,000 views, that's only one time. But if I clip it up into 30 clips, I can get 10,000 on each video.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that means if I get 30 clips out of this 2-hour interview, that's 300,000.
Ooh, you dropping game.
That's 300,000 views. That's 300,000 views.
You're reading my mind. Yeah, that's a free podcast
y'all
game.
Hear this? Y'all getting free podcast game right now.
Yeah.
Like, y'all should be thinking. Subscribe to Via Talk, because honey, you get in the game.
And Ghetto Report.
Ghetto Report,
podcast. And if you're from Boston, I'm from the town. I love my city. So, you know what I'm saying? If you're from Boston, you can hit me up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'll give you some advice. You know what I'm saying? Don't cost me nothing. You know what I'm saying? And because I feel like I'm not in competition with nobody.
Amen to that.
I'm in competition with myself. You know what I'm saying? Like to get better and stuff like that.
Right.
So basically, like, you want them views because that's how you get the money. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
Like, because once you get 1,000 subscribers, you got 4,000 watch hours, you get monetized. And, you get monetized, you get paid off these views.
Ooh, we're talking YouTube
lingo. Get the money.
You get, and I don't have it all figured out. I'm trying to figure out the Snapchat because they paying. You know what I'm saying? Snapchat, TikTok. I'm on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok now. But I can't.
Snapchat and TikTok.
I legit cannot. There's only so many social media apps I can do.
Hey, listen.
I'm like, oh my God.
You're old school.
Hey, listen, you got to do it all because.
I'm not gonna lie. No, it's not even. You know what it is? you know this about me, and I think I've always been this way. Like, as much as I kind of like to I like to preserve myself, my beauty. Like, I don't always want everyone to see me. You don't see me out like that. Like, I'm very so.
That's me.
So it's,
I want to be behind.
This is like my ultimate goal is hopefully to get everything. Like, I think I'll always do via talk, obviously, because it's me and stuff, right? But like my ultimate goal is to really try to like be behind the scenes and have someone run my social media. And maybe I'll but it's like.
You just can't do it by yourself. That's one of the biggest things that I think was the greatest lesson that I learned last year. The first year when we first started, it was all about just building the brand. The second year we were just trying to be very conscious about not only brand identity, but product placement, where we were putting it, right? So, one of the things that I think was the biggest lesson that I had to learn was that I just couldn't do it all, right?
Yeah.
You need other people. You know what I mean? So, if I'm handling the marketing and I'm designing and Lean's handling the sales and we rocking, right? But then we need a person that's going to be doing social media, right? We need a person that's going to actually be trying to put the brand, to expand the brand. Like, who's going to try to put it in retail, right? You need other people is my point.
But your core people, though, are your family people that help you, right? Your core
Everybody
people?
that we deal with Design House, I've known, they may not be family as in blood, but they're definitely family as in I've known these people over 2 decades. Almost 3
so
decades.
All I'm gonna say is, like, with my situation, and I just feel this, it's like crazy. Like every woman wants to be famous, or every woman wants to be seen, and for some reason, like,
especially in this day and age.
Yeah, and I'm trying to put you on. Like, come here. I have this whole situation set up, so it's like this weird thing where it's like,
but they don't want to come.
Because it's via talk, right? Or it's via Guatemala Coffee, right? And even my brand is Via's World. I'm sorry, but I created it. Like, but I'm gonna still shine a spotlight on you, right? So it's like interesting because I find it even in just corporations or businesses, men have a better what do you call it? They have a better it's easier for them to get people together than women for some reason, because women, they always, and to me, I don't care, like, shine, I want you to be beautiful next to me.
I think that sometimes I would think it was the opposite, like women are easier to
I see your point. I think that now a lot more women are getting together.
No, and I wish I want that. I want that.
You know what it is? I don't think it's personal. I think it's more so when people, like, maybe because you just started the podcast thing, people look at it, they want to look at the numbers, like, they don't want to be the first.
Nobody ever want. That's what I'm saying.
Get the people you know first, like the people you mess with, get them first, and then get other people. Even if you gotta pay for somebody, I'm not saying you gotta pay for somebody, but even if you had to, like, cause see me, I go to Chicago, I get the drill artists. Let's keep it 100. They want money, you know what I'm saying, for these interviews, like, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna get these people, but I'm gonna go get 50,000 views off of one clip. 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm saying to you is, it's the beginning stages. It's kind of rough in the beginning. I'm not saying it ain't rough, and you're gonna do some research where you know where you need to go, where you at, where you gotta constantly reevaluate yourself.
Yeah, all day, every day. Yeah, you gotta do a lot of,
because I transition. Even I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first started, I got an old camera. What's that? The 7D. That's old. I ain't even use that because I'm like, that's old or whatever. I need to. So I was using Sony's and renting them. I'm like, I'll go to
Again, these are YouTube conversations.
I go to Hunts or I go to wherever to rent these cameras, and then we in Chicago, a couple of them overheated. I'm like, God damn, this shit overheated. But shout out to DJ U. He's a big platform over there. He got over 250,000 subscribers. He had a camera. He was like, yo, use this camera. Like, luckily,
that's
one
real.
of the times that it overheated. I'm like, this kind of crazy. We had to use the phone too. But I'm like, you know what? So if you're going to buy a camera, make sure before you invest in that camera, that's the camera you need. Or that's the camera, like, because sometimes you get this camera and it ain't the one you need. So me, I don't like to make mistakes. So I know it can happen. You know, people say, yo, you know, you're going to make mistakes. I understand that. If the mistakes happen, cool. But me,
if we can avoid the mistakes.
I can avoid the mistakes,
by doing research.
So I'm going to go do research. I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm going to be on Google. So I was like, all right, let me rent these cameras and see which one is with. All right, the Sonys, I'm not messing with those. I'm going to just use these Canons. So after that, all right, I got me a camera. went back, got another one. I said, I ain't renting, you know what I'm saying? Because it's paying for itself. I just, get the cameras, and now got a couple Canons. I already had the podcast equipment with the mic and everything else. So, I got my editor. He flies with me, you know what I'm saying?
That's fire.
Yeah, so eventually you're gonna build a team around you and what you need to do and what you need.
And I'm not gonna say I do have I have, but it's also too. I work for myself, so I know I have more flexibility. A lot of people still work 9 to 5, so they have to drive here. So I've been blessed where I have more flexibility to kind of move the way I do.
And if these people don't want to come on, man, you know what? I don't want to swear, but if they don't want to come on, it is what it is, man. You just keep it moving, and they get somebody else that do want to come on. They're gonna circle back.
Oh, of course, they always come back. What I'm saying is, though, I love what you were saying about you need a team and you can't do everything yourself, right?
You cannot.
But I always tell people this, nobody's going to love your business or love your dream like how you love it, right? And no one's going to work hard for it. And my point is that everybody wants to jump on board, but they don't really want to put in the work. So when you start telling them, okay, well, it takes work to do this and that, they're like, oh, no, I just want to show up and be glamorous. I didn't know I had to do that.
Nobody wants to deal with motherfucking bullshit.
That nobody wants to, and it's that's not how it's going to go, So that's all I'm saying is that, it's just, it's frustrating because, and some people too, this, I say this in my paintings and I show my stories. I say, no one ever gets the vision until you show them, right? That's something and people will just be and so sometimes you just gotta be like, but anyway, you guys, I hope you guys took notes on this because the Ghetto Report, he's been around since the DVD era. So he got DVD knowledge to transition into YouTube knowledge
super fast.
That's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations, honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sky's the limit.
So you do that, and then now what do you do for Design House?
Design House, I really focus on sales. Sometimes, me and him will collaborate on different ideas as far as the clothing, on what we should do, as far as the hoodies, the hats, and t-shirts or whatever and stuff like that. I shout out to my neighborhood too, because my neighborhood, man, they support. They buy, they love me. So, you know what I'm saying? They buy so much. Aww. They buy so much gear from me.
He said, I like to be humble, but he said, I'm nice looking. They love me. Keep going, baby.
No. He's talking about the hood just genuinely having love for him.
I'm saying the hood genuinely shows me love, and I appreciate it.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying?
Where's the hood, by the way? We were repping.
I'm
you're doing a lot.
I'm from Dorchester, 02124.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Dorchester.
So,
Lynn, City of
Sin.
Sin.
Are you from Lynn? Oh, okay. City of Sin. What, you went to English High or something?
No, classical.
Okay, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
High, baby.
So, yeah.
All right, with Roxbury in the building, we gonna keep doing all this. I was gonna let y'all go for a second.
Here we go.
Then y'all start trying to shout out high schools. We ain't gonna do that, man. 02119 in the building, man. Roxbury, y'all know what it is.
Yeah, 02124. I'm from Common Square, to be honest. But, all that's minor, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, my neighborhood, they show so much support and love.
That's beautiful.
I appreciate them too, because most of them I know since we was kids, what I'm saying? So they buy a lot of the gear and stuff like that.
That's beautiful, though.
So,
I think that would be probably one of the biggest lessons that I would say that I would want to tell any young designer that's just starting a brand, is that you start with your core people that you have around you, right? Your friends, your family, your true supporters. Those are going to be the nucleus of what you're going to be as a brand ultimately, right?
Right.
Because they're going to be honest with you, right? Because, your friends will buy your product to support you the first time.
I will say this,
though. There won't be a returning customer if it's not good.
Wait. I will say this, though. I will say this. Yes, your friends might be the first, and your family, but for some weird reason, they keep thinking okay, I supported you the first time. That they want you to start giving them
discount?
free discount, right? Wait. Two, I noticed for me with the coffee company, I get more sales from I get more sales from the Midwest, New York, and LA. It's crazy how much just even New England don't really, but I get it because New England is so dominated by American runs on Dunkin' and so dominated, so dumb. But it's crazy because people who really love specialty coffee, right? And again, I told you my coffee's $30 a bag, right? So people are like, oh my God, right? But it's crazy because it's everybody always says start off around the way, but I tell people just don't always be so so thinking local too. You gotta always think global,
Yeah.
you know. And of course, it's important to get.
It's just about a start. It's just about starting foundation of your nucleus. You know what I mean? Like
sometimes people want to take the elevator, yo. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take the stairs. You know what I'm saying? You gotta build the foundation. So, you know, with doing the clothing line, you learn, like, you know what I'm saying? Because if y'all giving all this money to Polo, if y'all running the Saks, you know what I'm saying? If y'all doing all this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. I don't get mad, but you can recognize it. You can see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But fortunately for us, a lot of people that we know, like friends and family, they really support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's a lot, too, that don't want a discount.
That's fire.
They say, yo, listen, I don't want a discount because I know it's a beginning business and I'm gonna pay full price. And me, when I buy something from one of my friends, they have to force me to take a discount because I say to them, like, I don't want a discount. I want it because I know this is your business.
Yeah,
like, you put your hard-earned, you know, money in this and, you know, sweat and tears or whatever. So, and it's being reciprocated. You know what I'm saying?
Amen to that. Mm-hmm. Speaking of, so now, excuse me, do you have something for me? Do we have women's? Do we have women's? Because you know I'm a tomboy. You know I'm a tomboy.
You're a tomboy. What you want? You want a hoodie? You want a hoodie? You want a...
So, I came through. I wasn't sure what color you wanted, so I brought you a couple different colors and let you choose from.
You know let's look at the packaging first of all.
Oh, that's the crop right there.
Okay,
you got the crop.
Yeah, she's a workout fanatic, so she's always at D's gym.
Oh, she's always at the gym?
Yeah, she's always at D's gym.
Okay.
She don't play. You know what I mean? So you gotta choose which one you want.
It's like, you know I'm a tomboy. Oh, you know I love the red.
Yeah, I know it. See, that's why I had to bring you the red. I said, if I don't bring her red, she's gonna be like,
Okay,
you didn't bring my favorite color of all the colors. You know what I mean?
Let's look. Look at the packaging. I see you.
Oh yeah, you breaking it already?
Oh shit. Okay, here we go.
Rip me out the plastic. I've been acting brand new.
Oh, you know this is fire. This is so cute. Daph. Love it. Ooh, with some Timbs. Honey, you know I'm a whole little thug. For those that don't know, I'm a tomboy.
Hey, listen, I'm too old to be wearing Timbs now. That joint be hurting my feet.
I'm about to say Timbs hurt, man.
Them joints, I need something comfortable on my feet. And I used to wear it all year round.
Staple of the culture. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I was going through my kicks today. It's funny as shit. I was going through my kicks today, and I found a pair of black suede joints. I never wore them.
Can I have two?
And I was like, yeah, you can have two. You can buy one.
Okay.
And others on the house.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, buy one, get one free. You know what I'm saying? Who can beat that?
Right, I got you back.
So I found some suede Timbs today, right? Yeah. So I'm like, yo, some brand new black suede. I'm like, damn. And I was like, I only want to wear these shits. because it's not comfortable no more. Them shits hurt, man.
No, I don't know how I used to do it. Hey, listen, I used to wear Timbs all year round.
Facts.
I don't care if it was the wheat Timbs or what. I wear it in the summer. I cannot do it no more.
Come on, the cargos with the wheats.
With the wheats, with the tea. Like, come on, man. I can't do it no more. Like, at one point, them joints became too heavy.
Yo, facts.
They start hurting my feet.
It's like no cushion. It's just like it's like walking. It's like walking on a cinder block.
Now, don't get me wrong. I got a couple pair. I got a pair of wheat.
You got to.
A pair of black. But I done had them for years. They last me so long. I don't even wear them like that.
It's a quick flex now. Yeah. Now it's the pop them on, go do what I do. And then ha to the event.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna wear this when I paint.
Okay, that's dope.
Also too when I do, because I'm doing my new paint series.
As long as you take a picture, video, or something.
I do videos, pictures.
So people can follow you. Now social media is crazy. Her social media is totally crazy.
But yeah, I'm gonna do this when I paint my new paint series. So every year I focus on a subject matter. So besides I'm talking to him because he doesn't really know, but besides doing like my commissions or the artwork, which I'm still doing for the hotel and whatever, every year I focus on a subject matter. So last year I did the global standards of last year I did international food and drinks that women love. So it was all about food and drinks. The year before I did the one paint series. The year before I did whatever, the global standards of beauty. But this year I'm doing the global standards of body image. So I'm going to paint women bodies. So that's what this year. So it's all about different women's body image, because I feel like for some reason women just have like such a
that's a serious message.
Yeah. So I like to create. So for one whole year, I focus individually, and then as you know, you went to the One Paint series in Boston. Shout out to what do you call it? Joe, Blue Hill Ave. What's his thing called?
Oh, shout out to the Muse.
Yeah, the Muse.
My man Joey Politics, man.
Yeah.
Pro Black, my brothers. What's happening, brothers?
What's up, baby? I love Pro Black. He's a fire artist too.
Yeah, shout out to Pro Black.
He's came to my studio.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
Yeah,
that's
you interviewed him.
No, my studio, my art studio. So I also have a paint studio.
Okay.
So,
woman of many hats, huh?
So I tell you, honey.
Yo, listen. You got to work nonstop. I got a bunch of things going on too. If you're looking for an apartment or a house, I'm a real estate agent too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come get a design house special.
Yeah, for real. We work. Yo, listen, we got our hands in everything. Like me and him together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you flip houses, right?
Yeah, I do real estate. I've been doing it for years.
Yo, listen.
Oh, yeah.
If you need your house,
if you want a condo, historic district,
right,
Fort Hill area, I got one for you. Holla at me.
And if you want your house fixed or something, if you need construction on your house, I'm with a company, Squared Away Construction and Design. Shout out to Core, that's my partner.
Cool, my guy.
We got that going too. We got his GC, so we do jobs and stuff like that.
I love it. Look at this. Look at us being embodied in all this like entrepreneur, just amazing energy, like. A bunch of hustlers.
And shout out to music too. If you want a song for Smoke, holla at me. I'm charging top price. MMG. Yeah, shout out to Smeeze. You know what I'm saying?
So just on the editing thing.
Yeah.
One time just on the editing thing. I want to go back to the intro. About like the music background, because we start talking about Miles of Smoke, and most people, if they don't know, won't even know who we even talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather go back and then go back to like when we talk about the background and elaborate a little bit more.
Why don't you just elaborate on now?
You know what I mean? Well, I just didn't know how you was gonna chop it up.
You can chop it up. You can put it in the beginning.
We can chop it up, but okay. So for those who don't know, we have Smoke Bolger, who is a really well-known Boston artist. I actually did a painting for him.
Did you?
Which one you did? The rock painting?
No, I did one of him. He still never picked it up though. But he asked me to do one. I did one for him. So, honey, guess what? It's mine now. All right. You snooze, you lose. Smoke. I love you though. It's all love. And then Mass Pike Miles for those. Also, and a little brief background on Smoke. He's signed. Is he signed to
MMG?
MMG.
Yep.
Which who's that? People may not know.
That's Rick Ross.
Okay, so come on, that's like a great Boston artist. Smoke. I better have you up in here. Then two. Mass Pike Miles, let's talk about him. He's an amazing, talented. He's a producer, songwriter, and singer.
Yeah, so we all started together. Me, Miles, Smoke. We used to have a crew, Russia Fast Life crew. 18 Entertainment was the label. That was my label at the time with my business partner, my man Londi. Shout out to Londi.
You can see me in the music video that Smoke did. Wait, remember at the Chinese restaurant?
Facts.
Which one? Smoke did it?
Yes.
No. She was in the Jim Jones joint, Money on My Mind joint.
Oh, you was?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is how much I'm like.
You know what's so crazy is I'm the one that made that song happen.
Really?
I met Jim and Elena. I got the footage too. I should put it out, but I won't put it out. They was actually beating somebody up.
Oh God!
So some guys were beating somebody up.
Hey, listen, it's a statute of limitations. I guess they had to rough somebody up, and I was recording. You know what I'm saying? But we was down there with Miles and Ross and stuff. There was a bunch of people down there. BET Hip Hop Award Weekend. But I ended up meeting Jim because of that, and then I seen him in into the airport the next day. He came and talked to me and shit, and then
that was when BET at Night went hard, the videos,
and then we ended up linking. He invited me to when he was doing that play thing. We did the interview, and I asked him. See, that's another thing why I was running around with the camera to help the music, because I know people when they got the camera in their face, it's easier for them to talk, and you get a relationship with them and build off the music. You know what I'm saying? So when you want to do music, this advice to all the artists from Boston too. If you want to do music, sometimes you can't focus on just one thing. You might not. The music might not get you in the door, but something else might get you in the door to lead to the music. So I was using that like, okay, they're over here doing this. Let me focus on this. Like even Black might be doing some business or something. Like, okay, let me focus on this over here. So that end up getting relationships as far as people in the industry, and that end up coming to that song. So I asked, after we did the interview, I asked Jim, how much for the feature? Like, can we get a feature?
Yeah.
Right.
And so we all went down there, me, Smoke, Rock, and A1, RIP to Rock.
R.I.P.
You know
to
what I'm saying?
Rock, yeah,
So
for
we
sure.
all
R.I.P.
went
to
down
Ducati.
there and we did the song. And we did the song first, and then we shot the video.
Yeah, man. I remember I was he asked me to be in the video. Shout out to AI Rocks X. That's my girl, Ashley. So anyway.
Ashley? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I know Ashley.
So like you didn't even know I'm deep in there.
Nah, I know you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know you. I've seen you before.
So anyway, yeah, and I remember it was so funny. I think one of my peoples in Virginia was like, "Yo, I was watching BET Uncut, and I seen you in the video because remember BET used to have the late at night, the Uncut videos.
BET Uncut was the shit.
I was so shout out to my short little video vixen.
Was you in the scene in Saugus Reveal?
Yeah,
okay,
I was in that scene where everybody was there, and I was just. I remember I was wearing black.
What's
with like
so
a
crazy
thing.
is you didn't see the behind the scenes. It was on Ghetto Report DVD,
Right.
like
Facts.
part 1 and
Facts.
2, the
Part
behind the
1 and
scenes. You
2.
didn't see that?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, see, slipping. You know what I mean?
So anyway, well, I'm so grateful you guys for coming here tonight. I mean, it,
Nah,
it
we're
means
totally
so
grateful
much
for you
to
having
me.
us. You know what I mean?
But not to cut you off.
No, say what you guys say.
Finish what you were saying about, the situation, the deal, the label. I know you was going to say all of that with, you know what I'm saying, Smoke.
And I
Yeah,
got
so-
something to say too about music, but go ahead.
Yeah.
So
Because we don't want to forget that.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Well, I mean, obviously, it's a part of the resume. The history of who we are. Why we became who we are now. But yeah. So Smoke Bolger, Mass Pike Miles. We all started together. We used to have a crew, with 2 crews actually. Russia, Fast Life. It was 2 crews. We had come together to really try to just really go hard with the music. Late '90s, early 2000s. So we have formed a company. My business partner and I, Londi, 18 Entertainment. We had Smoke and Rock, which was Fast Life, and then we had myself and the rest of my crew, Miles, Serge, Marky, Raph, Bang. And that was the crew. You know what I mean?
I remember.
God blessed us with a deal. We had a deal out of Sony, out of Epic. Originally, and we were there, right when Napster was getting ready to start changing the game, right, with the streaming, right?
Oh wait, I remember because I saw you guys in New York at 50s event.
Right.
I was there in New York, so I have I'm in the entertainment industry too. So I remember when y'all was there at 50s thing.
Yeah, we was going hard,
Yeah.
shout out to Fifth, man.
Yeah, shout out to
and
50
actually
Cent.
one of the people who I work with now with Design House, Emily. She's
Shout out
a
to
huge
Em.
part of what we do. Emily, shout out to Emily.
Yeah.
She was working with G-Unit 50 for years.
Yeah.
And that's how Emily and I first met, was back then.
Back then,
during those
that's
times. And we just
crazy.
developed a great relationship.
That's
And we've
amazing.
stayed friends for years. And when we were launching Design House, I was talking to Emily and I was like, just trying to put those pieces together with that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's just funny about those relationships that just
Yeah.
Shout out to M too,
Yeah.
because she helped out on a lot of things. She helped out with the DVD stuff too as well, and she hooked us up with.
And I can
Little.
just say this as a woman, because this, Black. I've always dabbled in new music. I still write music. I still go in the studio. But I remember I got flown out to Sony and Tubby. Remember when he ran whatever. In my situation, honestly, I was just so disgusted. I feel for a woman, it was just so what are you doing for me? It was very sexual oriented. Very.
What situation you talking about?
When it was a situation where I got flown down to Interscope when Tubby was running it, and they were like, we want you to be like a little Kim or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm like a Sade, Lauryn Hill, I'm like, that's not what I'm on right now, right? And so anyway, it was just I just felt really always violated, almost pressured sexually. So I was like, I gotta leave the music industry alone because I just felt as a woman at that time being young too, and I didn't have a clique behind me. I didn't have a whole, movement or whatever. And my situation, I'm adopted, so I don't even have family like that, right? So it's I'd be like, let me call my brother or my cousin or my uncle, right? So to me, I feel like the music industry too is just very and it's still kind of fucked up for women, I feel.
I don't want us to say it's just the music industry. I think that entertainment
in general,
as a whole,
for women.
I think
and not
that,
just entertainment.
I think that it was a very toxic environment for a long time. But I don't want to just paint the whole industry and the light is like, they're just,
And I'm not gonna lie, I had, my entrepreneur endeavors. I had my foot in some toxic things that I did.
Hey, listen, man.
I provided
that's
services.
when you have growth. Is when you can when you can take responsibility for some of the things that happen to you.
I'm saying I was in the entertainment industry in all aspects. So
no, I dig it. You know what I mean? Hey, end of the day.
Hey, we all got to pass, man. Some things we can't talk about.
You know what I'm
saying?
Some things I won't talk about. You know?
Right.
Hey, at the end of the day, man, that passes who make you who you are. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what's led us to here. And that's why I'm so happy.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm so happy and grateful that you're still my friend.
I am too.
Because, honey, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah, I fuck with you. So, it's funny because I was talking to Dwayne a couple of weeks ago, and and I was saying, Sylvia wants me to do a podcast, and he was like, bro, you should do it. He was like, I did it. He was like, yo, it's cool, man. He was like, so you should do it. You know what I mean? So, so you know how I am. I don't do a lot of media. If I fuck with you, I fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've always been good. So, I fuck with you. So, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck if you got 2 viewers or 2 million viewers. You know what I mean? If you ask me,
that's love. Thank you.
All publicity is good
and
publicity.
And the fact that the shout out to the big hammer you brought through the Ghetto report.
Right. You already know. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't do a podcast and not bring my podcast guy.
We're a team. So when he hit me about it, I'm like, I wanted to ask him, like, you're gonna do it? Like, because I be talking to him like, yo, man, you might need to get on camera because you might need to do speaking and stuff like that. You got a story to tell, not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things that we're gonna really be working on this year. I got to give a shout out to Cuz because he's really been impressing me. Him, Duran, San.
Well, that's why I wanted to have you on it because I know you and I do feel like you have a story. If you weren't interested and you have a story, I wouldn't give a fuck. You already know how I am. I'd be like,
especially growing up in the hood, like we've been through a lot. I've been through a whole bunch, but he's been through more. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, the stuff I went through is like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, tell your story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the fact that you're still here and the fact that it's a testament. And just, again, and that's why I wanted to, because I've been blessed that I've been in your life for 21, 22 years, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, by the way, just so we're clear, how we met. He saw me and he was like, I like your style.
Facts. Yo, where was we at? Backstage?
No, we were in Boston.
We met at backstage. We met at backstage.
And you were watching me.
Remember backstage on Sundays?
Faneuil Hall.
I was there with you. Backstage. We was in probably 100 deep. There probably 100 of us in there.
Let me say this. Okay. Y'all can see my boobs. Come on.
Let me say.
I'm still a fashionista.
Hey, listen. I might have been getting backstage before I was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I think I was getting backstage before I was supposed to.
He was staring at me, and finally I was like, "What's up?" And he was just like, "Yo." He's like, "I like your style." And he was just like, but you know how he looked? He's like a predator. He's just like looking.
Whoa.
No, I don't want to use that word. He's like,
X-nay that. Don't ever say that
like a lion. He's like a lion, like just looking.
He's observant.
Yes, very. So he's laid back. He's looking, and I was like, okay. I'm like, you recognize style? But that was how far. I mean, think about that. Wow, moments back in the day.
Yeah, back in the days. Facts.
So anyway, but just to see your transition from that, I knew you fast life. I knew you then, and then I knew when you went away. I knew your Harvard thing, and now look, it's like we're here.
Yeah, now we're here. Longevity, man. Longevity, man. Just blessed. That's all I can say, man. All the things that we've seen and all the things that we've been through to still be here at this point and to be able to continue to strive and try to, build what we're building on this level. You know what I mean? That's a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Any advice that you would give to, I know obviously around the way, there's always so much pressure. It's like any advice that you would give about just being involved in like the street life or being involved in things, any advice that you would give, like not just the younger kids, but now looking back at it, is it something that you would have done again?
That's a tough question. If you would have done it again.
I'm going to tell you why that's such a tough question. The reason why that's such a tough question is that sure in hindsight in my adulthood, I could look back on it and be like, no, I would never have wanted to do that, right?
Right. Because who wants to go to jail?
Right. But, I was in, some really serious circumstances at a very early age. I've been on my own since I was 15. So I was kind of forced into a certain lifestyle at a very early age. You know what I mean? And then, I was in way over my head, you know what I mean, by the time, I was even old enough to vote.
So what do you do?
You know what I'm saying?
What is the advice that you give to, say, another young brother who's 15 and is forced to, what do you think, like, is Design House, are they able to reach out to you and say, hey, I want to do interns with you?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
What kind of, like, so how involved are you in the community now? And what are you doing so, say, young brothers and sisters don't got to go through what you had to go through?
So that's a 2-point question, actually. So I will say, first of all, to answer your first question, the best advice that I can possibly give someone is advice that was given to me a very long time ago by my older cousin, who was a very, very serious individual. Shout out to Doug. Reza, love you, Doug. The game,
Shout out Reza.
The game is like a scale. And you got positive and negative, right? And, if you keep just pile on the negative, right, you're going to go downhill real fast. Mm-hmm. You got to kind of continuously keep putting some kind of positivity in your life, right? To, not just balance it out, but maybe that good kind of outbalances that negative. You know what I mean? And, for me to be able to sit here today and have a conversation with you and kick with my cousin about a business that we've started and businesses that we've done together, and I say again, that's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
That's
a
blessing.
Amen.
That's a blessing. So you have to look at it in those terms. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to think that maybe I put a lot more of that weight on that positive side that got me out of the shit that I was in. You know what I'm saying? To be able to put me in a situation to be able to continue to help change me.
So what you're saying is, like, to the younger people maybe going through some of the things is try to focus more on the positive.
Try to find those positive things, right?
Right.
And I'm from the hood, right? I'm a project kid, so I understand the environment that these dudes is coming up in. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say dudes, I'm sorry, but just young people of color. You know? But the biggest thing is that you got to try to just find those little positives in that big negative that you're in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that little positive might just be, just making sure that, you make sure that the old lady that lives across the hallway, always gets a newspaper, or you know what I'm saying? Or just constantly just try to do those little things, right? Because that little karma just adds up, and it not only does it add up, and I don't just mean universally, it just adds up in who you are as a person as you try to do more for people. Just who you become as a person becomes better. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I done slammed the door on a lot of people that I don't fuck with. You know what I mean? And that would probably look back and be like, yo, you know how much foul shit that nigga did?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Right. And there's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, the reality of it is that I helped a lot of lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I always say this, and my adopted father, I'll never forget, he would always say this to me, and it always stuck with me. And that's why I always tell everybody, like, I'm a servant. The more you serve, that's just honestly the key of life is to be a servant. And so your brand right now, you're serving yourself, but you're serving the people because it has a mission behind it. That's why honestly I feel so happy to owning the coffee company, because I feel so happy knowing that anyone who loves coffee wakes up every morning and drinks my coffee, and I put a smile to their face. Just that alone. I know I'm like, oh, that's so, and then I know I'm helping my people. And then I know, so I'm a servant. I'm serving. And then literally when I do my events or whatever, I'm serving, right? So I always tell people, like, the more you give, the more in return, but you have to give without saying like, oh, I got to give so I get something. You give because you want, like, I hate when people show videos of someone like giving something to the homeless or whatever. You give because you give, And so when that becomes such a natural, just like process and people understand how blessed you really will be because you're given without expectations too. You're just given. So so that's amazing.
I see your point in that too, far as like showing you giving to the homeless. But you know what I think? Sometimes I think about that. When somebody's genuine about it.
Yeah, of course.
So
like if you're gonna do a big event and give away like turkeys or give away, that's important.
Well, that was the other part.
I feel like you should if you give, because I don't give a lot and not let it be known. But you know what I'm saying? Because I gave from the kindness of my heart. But I feel like sometimes when you give, you should show it, because we show so much fucking negativity. It's like, show somebody different. Show somebody else they could go give to the homeless too.
Right.
Show they can go do this. Instead of giving away your clothes, go give it to the homeless. Instead of throwing away that food, go buy something for the homeless or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like
positive news is important.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel like it depends how you do it. But it should be done. It should be seen, because sometimes, like, I might not be able to give a whole bunch, but if I show it, somebody else might be like, "Yo, I want to be involved."
Yeah, right.
Shout out.
They
That's
see
like I
it,
think so.
and they might be like, "Yo, let's go do that." But I want to touch on the thing you said about the advice for the young people. So it's kind of hard telling somebody from the hood to stop doing what they're doing, right? Because I was young, I didn't want to listen. You know what I'm saying? But I took advice from older people, and some of this advice still stuck with me to this day. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of like, what do you tell them? Like, if you tell them to stop doing something, but what's the alternative?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got to have opportunities.
Well, that's why I asked, is Design House providing opportunities?
So you gotta present opportunities to these kids so they can go, and they don't want to hear from somebody who ain't been through it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear from somebody who ain't been through it. They want to hear from, that's why me and him had this conversation. I'm telling him like, yo, you should go do XYZ because you've been through it. You know what I'm saying? And
you should go to schools and be a speaker.
Yeah, so I ain't really, this is new to me too. Like, I ain't really the vocal person. I stay
you're
behind
doing
myself.
great at it.
And you know what? That's because of practice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me doing the podcast and stuff like that, and me getting better at it while I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling him, because when I'm around a bunch of people, I don't say nothing. People say, yo, he's quiet. You know what I'm saying? I'm just observant. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke. So even my mom used to tell me, right? It's better to give than receive.
All day, every
when
day.
I was younger, I'm like, hey, you told me
don't
it's
get
better
that.
to give
Let's
than
think
receive.
kids are selfish.
Why you ain't giving me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm telling her. But she instilled that in me. So, but I always gave to people without even realizing she instilled this in me. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't get high. I don't smoke. I don't drink. So, to be honest with you, that's my high. I like to help people, and I get.
So you're being a servant.
I get high off of that.
Think about that. You're being a servant.
It makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying?
You're walking God's purpose and humanity's purpose. You're being a servant, and like you said, you're accessible. You're from Boston. You love your hood. Anyone wants to hit you up on some advice?
Anybody.
Okay, so the last question I was going to ask you.
To answer the second part of your question.
Yeah.
So yes, Design House is involved in the hood. We are definitely involved in the community. So we are in partnership with a program called Score for More. And so,
tell us more.
Well, Score for More is a community outreach program that was started by some of my brothers. Shout out to Deron. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Liz Miranda. Shout out to Marlon. Shout out to the whole crew. I can't think of everybody's name because it's a big crew that does it. But what Score for More does is they do a few events every year. The biggest event that they do is the Save Our Streets basketball tournament, which usually is the second or third week in July. And that tournament is the biggest basketball tournament in the city, in all honesty. And it's all high school, from young kids, middle school, high school, to men's adults. And the Save Our Streets basketball tournament itself is a weekend. We call it Save Our Streets weekend. So it goes from Friday to Sunday. And there are all kind of community events, as well as a big basketball tournament. It's a cash tournament. We do things with, the Boston Police,
nice.
The mayor's office. Every day there are just different events. There's, free food, face painting for the kids, all type of games, bounty houses, you name it, it's there, right? So look out for the Save Our Streets basketball tournament next year. this year was the first year that we had done it since COVID.
Look out for Via Guatemala Coffee serving nice coffee.
Yeah, iced coffee, definitely. Should have came through with that iced coffee. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure she comes through with that iced coffee. You know what I mean? We're going to hold her to that.
I'll be
She
there
better
next
be there with
year.
that iced coffee. I'm going to hold her to that. You know what I mean? But it's a great event in Roxbury every year. It's a beautiful event.
Yes,
we
it
also
is.
do a few other events, but the other big event that we do that just passed, we did it on December 22nd, was the We Love the Kids holiday toy drive.
I saw that. That was beautiful.
And I got to tell you, in all the years that I've been doing this, and you know, we're well over 10 years in this. And again, this was the first year that we had done it since COVID. You know, I've never seen so many people donate toys, donate time, you know, just be willing to do anything they possibly could to make that event such a go. And, you know, and we had, you know, if I tell you we had 100,000 toys, people would be like, you're lying. And we had well over 100,000 toys.
I saw it. It was huge.
I mean, I can't even tell you how many kids there were, but in the thousands, you know.
That's beautiful.
And just to be able to see that, and to know that, you know, and it wasn't just toys, you know, we gave away coats, we gave away sneakers, you know, we gave away a bunch of design house stuff for the kids, you know, but, you know, just to see the reception that Score for More is getting in the community is something that, you know, I really hold dear to my heart because, you know, we started this a long time ago with just an idea. And, you know, to watch Duran and watch Marlon and watch Liz and the rest of the crew put, you know, together what they put together, man, is just, it's just amazing. And then even like, you know, shout out to the guys who do the stuff behind the scenes, you know, Roger and Hood and Sean Hines and, you know, all the people who, you know, and Tasha and all the other people who just, you know, that people don't see and know, you know, and Leslie and, you know, that just make it a reality and make it happen for these kids and make it, you know, for our communities, man, you know.
And can I just say this, that it's such a blessing that we live in United States where you're able to do something like that, because let me tell you, nothing's being done like that in my country in Guatemala.
Wow, yeah, right.
And so when I saw all those toys, I just thought, like, you know, I was an orphan and I'm like, damn, I didn't get none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So just I want to, for businesses or people to also just know that there's so many, we have access to so many things that if you really want to do give back, you really should, right? Because we have access for the help and kids do need it. And just think that what a blessing it is to even give or even to receive, because in my country, there's no giving or receiving. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just think about that too. Like when I watched, I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful. And I thought about like, damn, how can I implement something like that in my country, right? And it's just, it's so hard, right? So it's just that, I think sometimes people too, like, don't even understand, or they're just so in their bubble because they were born in the United States or just know their own hood or their own area, that they really don't understand and have understanding globally of how poor the world really is.
You gotta go to these other countries.
That's real.
Yeah,
you was born in Guatemala?
Yeah, I was born there. Yeah, I came here when I was like around 8. So like I was an orphan, honey. I was poor. Like didn't even own a pair of shoes.
I see it like when I go. Like, I done been to a lot of islands and stuff. So when you see it, you're like, damn, it kind of messes you up when you see like people poor like that, you know?
Yeah, but they're still so happy.
Yeah, right. They be happy with a few dollars, you know?
This is what I'm saying. So, okay, well, I mean, yeah, this was amazing. And I'm just so grateful that you came here. And thank you. Do you want to say anything before we leave?
when you have somebody, you know, on your platform, right? Because a lot of people do these interviews and then they get in and they don't say nothing. It's like, yo, don't waste my time. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we ain't here to waste your time. So I know we got to talk. You know what I'm saying? We get on the podcast, so like, yo, people got to talk. Don't have these people on your platform and they don't give you what you want, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I always get it out of them.
Make sure you
just like I get the money.
You gotta understand they give you what you want.
I get the honey, I get the talking. You know what I'm saying? I make it happen.
Because at the end of the day, you want the views. You want to build your platform and get up and stuff like that. So make sure they give you what you want. You know?
No, honey. Me getting things out of people is not a problem for me. I got the juice.
All right. Okay.
Hey, listen, I ain't never mad at you. You know what I'm saying?
Get it how you live.
You get it how you live.
Did you see no lies in what I said?
I never see no lies.
I mean,
There's no
you a
lies told.
testament to my 20-something years.
No lies told. No lies told.
I get it out here.
Yeah, bona fide G. Bona fide G.
See, I'm certified. Now, wait, is it in Dorchester?
Yeah, no, I'm a Roxbury kid.
I'm certified
but you're certified.
Roxbury.
You certified though. You certified. Listen, if you're from the town and you don't know, there's certain people you just know, right?
Yeah.
If you're from a town, there's certain people you know, and if you don't know them, then you're probably really not from the town.
Right.
You probably wasn't outside like that.
Like if you come to Boston and you don't really know me or look me up, or you don't because listen, and I don't want to brag, but I get hit up from people come from all over Boston and they'll be like, yo, they know I'm the plug.
Hey, listen.
So, honey. Anyway, shout out to Design House. I'm so grateful. Shout out to Black.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Lean.
Sorry. Doing the lean.
Yeah. Mr. Make It Count on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Follow me.
And then
please follow us on
Make
all
It
our
Count
platforms.
_DG.
Okay, but then the what? Then the Ghetto Report.
Ghetto Report podcast.
Yeah, and is that on IG?
That's on IG,
Yes.
Facebook,
YouTube, subscribe.
TikTok,
Okay.
Snapchat. Like we on all of them.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
we have Design House, which is DZYN 1974.
Yes.
On IG, same as Facebook. Email us dzyn1974@gmail. Hit us up, man. Fuck with us.
Email us, message us, hit us up, whatever. We did.
Okay, ta-ta, darlings. Mwah.
Yeah.